Hello, friends. I welcome you to the journey of self. We are now in the episode 2 of this learning series that I've titled Journey of Self, my story from conundrum to clarity. In our session today, I would share with you my story of shame. So, after me being handed over the note of PIP, that was Performance Improvement Program, I knew I had only 8 weeks to either stay, improve my performance, or make a move out. But since I was not very clear of what really a performer like me, which was promoted every year, which had the highest of ranks and awards to my credit, suddenly was put on a PIP program, and this downfall was something not only hit me very hard. My confidence level and self-worth was at a very low point. At the same time, I was not very confident that regardless of how I would perform, when I don't really know what really brought me to PIP, I was equally confused what will take me out of it. So, in order to move away from this humiliating uh, situation, I decided that I should quit. So, I gave up my job without serving the PIP tenure, and I quit. I had no job at hand the time when I had given my resignation, and neither did I serve the notice period. I just left because I could no longer take that humiliation. Now, back home, I was so full of shame. I felt so humiliated that I never told anyone about it. Perhaps this is the video where I'm sharing all this. And if somebody happens to watch this from my family, may come to know for the first time, if they ever happen to watch this. So, my story of shame goes like this. The first thing I did when I quit my job was I went out and bought a laptop for myself. And I told everyone back home that I have an assignment where I'm supposed to work from home. So I don't need to go to the office anymore. And I masked my emotions. I cut off from my colleagues. I no longer was available. My online presence was only in search of and immediately in search of a job, as if another job would help me move away from this humiliating phase that I was full of shame. Going to, I really need somebody to pull me out of it. So what I did was I constantly looked for jobs. And I even never told my colleagues about what I was going through and pretended because it was way too shameful. And this pretense of work from home went on for months. So I told my family that the project they have extended and I will be working out of home, and I continue to look for jobs. This was also a time period where I cut off from my friends' social circle because I felt if I go out and meet someone, they might come to know that I was on a PIP. Even though I have left the job, the the trauma, the humiliation, the the political games that really pushed me into the PIP phase played so hard on my mental health and physical health that I felt as if I was a sinner who was just trying to hide underneath a huge weight of shame. So I remained like this for many months. And this impact was very easily felt when even when I would attend interviews and the vibe that I would give out when I would uh, be asked questions and the way I would answer them, I tried level best to be very, very confident and recalling that, yes, I have this skill, yes, I have done this, and yes, I do have this confidence and this experience. I was also a very honest and a sincere employee, so I couldn't really lie. So I would always try to project myself as somebody who's done some real good work, but it would not come through. And as a result of that, I also failed many interviews where I could have easily got into it because somewhere in my head, my inner self has resigned to fate that I was a very unworthy employee, someone who has is not very deserving of any success. And I then started giving out a vibe of being a people pleaser. So I thought perhaps I should, try to be very accommodative, avoid conflicts. This was another way where I would hide my fear and my anxiety. And little did I realize nothing worked. There were times where the questions, the interviews, the conversations that I had for my level could have easily been. Uh, I was very, in fact, more eligible, more qualified for the roles, but I was ready to settle down for even more junior roles because I had no clue why I was living in such deep ocean of shame and anxiety and fear and sadness and pain. And also because I kept everything to myself, there was a inside turmoil that was not really giving me the permission to be the best I was. And this way, I ended up missing opportunities where I could have had not had I taken support or another perspective. If you ask me, I had friends who could support me. Yes, I had, but people cannot read your mind. You, when sometimes when shame envelop us, all we want to do is mask it and save ourselves. So our brain always try to constantly uh, protect us, and in order to do so, the easiest thing is to hide. So I hide beneath excuses, pretense, and fakeness. While if I had chosen to confront, perhaps I would have not suffered so much to the extent that I did. What I did next, I'll share this with you in our next video series, where I will share with you the story of what really brought that change in me. Stay tuned.